Hi, welcome to the President's Podcast at Austin Community College. I am Jessica Bass here with ACC President CEO Dr. Richard Rhodes. Hi, Dr. Rhodes.
Good day, Jessica.
Good day and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Welcome to 2020.
Yes, it's a great year. We're off to a great start with an exciting topic here for our President's Podcast. We're in ACCTV studios at ACC Highland, and we have the ACCTV team with us today. I want to introduce our guest, Carrie Glazer, the executive producer of ACCTV. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Jessica.
And Kai Ferguson, ACCTV videographer
Hello.
and producer.
Hi.
You cut off half of your title.
All I need is
So
half.
exciting. Of course, we also have one of our partners at Austin Community College, Bill Stotesbury, CEO and General Manager of Austin PBS. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy to have you with us.
Thank you, Jessica.
Dr. Rhodes, ACCTV has really been something you've envisioned reinventing for a while here at Austin Community College, and we're really seeing that come to fruition now. What do you want to see? What was the crux of bringing some evolution to what happens in ACCTV?
You know, the mantra for ACC is innovation plus collaboration equals transformation. And so we're excited about the innovation that's happening and the recreation of ACC TV and you know, the partnership that exists, the new partnership with you, Bill, and your team is really exciting. But what we want to do is reflect and show the transformation at ACC. And what better way to do that than through ACC TV?
It really highlights what's going on at the college. At one point, ACC TV really was a tool to bring distance learning to our students and provide them that channel and that pathway. But it's evolved and it's grown in a way to where we can do just that. Carrie, you've been really a huge visionary for how this actually happens here, and you've seen a transformation and brought that about with the team. I'm curious as to what you see as your top initiatives when you really kind of launched this last year in 2019.
Well, you know, taking a hard look at the previous content, as you said, it was all distance learning lectures. So it was lectures sort of 24/7. And, you know, with the dawn of the internet, all of those lectures are now online. So it was, ACCTV was a platform that was just not really taking the full advantage that we could really use as a cable channel that broadcasts as far north as Georgetown and as far south as Kyle. I mean, that's an amazing range. So as we sort of evaluated what was there and what we could do with our resources and with our current team, Kai and I actually sort of like first couple weeks when I started the job, like about a year ago actually, we visited all 11 campuses because we thought that was a great way just to see foundationally what all was happening here at ACC. There is so much going on at ACC, and we spent a day at each campus, and our minds were kind of blown.
Very much.
Between the students, the faculty, the programs. I mean, as an executive producer of the channel, it was a gold mine. Like, it was like, I don't even know where to start. There's so many avenues we could take content-wise. So, but again, you know, you have to be realistic and kind of look at your resources and look at what you can do. But we immediately looked at pipelines of content, like who's already creating content at the college that we can just repurpose and air on the channel. And I would say about a third of the content currently on the channel is that. It's RTF shorts, it's, you know, games and animation reels, it's the dance concerts, drama, because there's just so many things happening here that we really want to have that on the channel. But also, we wanted to create original content as well. And so with the studio, we've been able to create 5 kind of more talk show, similar to things like this, but topical-based shows with different sort of POVs and objectives, and additionally some field content to really take our students and take our team out into Austin because it's so exciting, everything that's happening here. And you know, we have several shows now that we're developing and shooting, which Kai can actually probably speak to as sort of our lead field producer.
So field production is all about getting out into the community and exploring what the community has to say, giving them a voice. Letting students sort of lead the way and find really good, I guess, content for us to put out there, stories to put out there. So we're doing things like Campus Spotlight, which brings interesting speakers into the campus, or shows off faculty that are bringing interesting people to speak. We have ACC About Town, which is about, again, going out to the community. For instance, we did Rooster Teeth Teeth,
Yeah, RTX conference,
RTX
yes.
conference, that was
Yes.
another one. And then our Day in the Life docuseries, where we sort of explore a day in the life of what a student might be doing. For instance, we did culinary recently, which was really fantastic. A lot went into that. What
And I think, for us, because I see us as a network, we're a cable channel, so we need long form content. Like a bunch of 3-minute videos doesn't really help us fill programming 24/7. So we have really tried to create a slate of shows that you can watch, that you can look at Spectrum and see a somewhat of a guide to what we're trying to do. And again, I think the general gist of it is awareness of all the amazing things happening at ACC, from our initiatives to our programs to our incredible students, incredible faculty, but showing it off in ways that feels different. It's not just quote unquote marketing content. It's actually telling stories about these people and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that for us is a blast. I mean, it's an honor to be able to bring those stories here.
Well, talking about telling stories about people, could you tell us about you and your background?
Sure.
Because one of the greatest parts of ACC and a part of the community is that we get to know each other better, and so our faculty and staff get to know who you are and what inspires you. And so,
Yeah.
what's your background and what inspired you?
Sure. Well, I feel like I've always been a content creator. I was born and raised in Texas, and then went to UT, which I know you approve, and was, radio, television, film there. Really saw that I wanted to be behind the scenes, and then I lived in LA for about 14 years. Producing and developing film and television projects, primarily for a film director, and worked on a variety of things from broad comedies to more docu-series type stuff on HBO. And so my husband got a job in Austin, and that's actually what moved us back here.
Yeah, lucky us.
That's so kind of you. But and the way you create content is the same as the way I did it out there here. You find great stories, you find great people, and you start. For me, it was really just creating sort of a slate for us that utilized our pipelines of content in the college, utilized our team going out and getting great coverage of things. And then something we didn't talk about, but something that I think we will be doing a lot more of, is working with our community partners. We can't produce enough content to probably even try to supply 24/7, 365. But Austin is this amazing community where there's festivals, conferences, concerts, and all of that is being recorded and taped in some way or another. So we actually see value in probably finding some partners out there to then bring and broadcast some of that content as well. Also just to bring more eyeballs to our channel. So it's not just ACC, which of course that's what it's always going to be, but let's get other eyeballs watching the channel to then learn about ACC, right?
Absolutely. Bring the community into ACC.
Correct, yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So Kai, a little bit about you and your background.
I also went to UT, studied film. Yep, actually,
We're getting bonus points.
Yeah.
Big bonus points.
But I came out of UT and started working in the industry around Austin, making commercials, doing a lot of short films, documentaries, and that sort of content before I came on board with ACC. So,
We're glad to have you here.
yeah, well, thank you very much.
Yeah. And Bill, this is such a unique partnership that's coming together here.
We're really excited.
What do you think? What's the future hold?
Well, I think the future is something we haven't fully understood yet. I think we all have a lot of ideas, and we've talked a lot about things. For us, KLRU's been in Austin for over 50 years. We were founded back in 1962, and Carrie, you talked about, ACCTV starting off largely as a way to deliver lectures and content. PBS stations all across the country, like KLRN at the time we were founded, or KLRU, were created as what was called then off of closed circuit television that was being created specifically for education. And so we've always maintained this commitment to education, although we view it pretty broadly. It's everything from Masterpiece Theater to Nova to American Experience to NewsHour, and then local productions that KLRU has been privileged to bring, like Central Texas Gardener, or Overheard with Evan Smith, or Austin City Limits, which is really our showplace production that we've done now for about to start season 46.
Wow.
So for us, we bring all of that with us, but we bring it with us at a time when our industry is going through this incredible change. You talk about the fact you felt you've always been a creator. well, creation is changing. It's still all about storytelling. It's how do you create a story and deliver a story. And for us, we feel we have, as you do, a larger commitment, which is a story that can make a positive difference in the community. But now we've got to figure out how we do that, not just through broadcast television and not just through audio, but how do we incorporate podcasts? How do we work in Twitter? How do we deal with Facebook? How do you deal with YouTube? How do you deal with that whole range of media distribution tools that are available to us, that each of which have a different audience and each of which have a little different structure, and so you want to spread your story across them and optimize the way you deliver your message. And I think that's what we're excited about, working with the creative, talented students and the faculty and the staff and the ACCTV staff here to really begin to experiment, innovate, and transform. I mean, really is a transformational process, not just for ACCTV or for Austin PBS, but it's a transformational process for everybody who is a creative and everybody who's in the media industry. So that's what we want to try to create here. If you ask me, the thing I'm most excited about is how do we harness this amazing talent pool that exists in Austin with groups like Rooster Teeth or the Texas Tribune or KUT or all of the organizations out there that deliver public service information and public media, and do it in a way that makes this the center for innovation in Central Texas. That's what I really hope we are as we look out to the future.
And across the U.S.
And across the U.S.
Because we really have the potential to be the showplace.
I don't think there's any question about that. I think by the time you combine the incredible talent in Central Texas and in Austin and the kind of vision that you've brought, that this whole team has brought to Austin Community College, it really can become the core of a media center of excellence that has national and beyond national implications. I think that really is what has me excited about the future in this.
It is. It's a great time to be in Austin, Texas.
It really is. You know, we've just gone through a rebranding. We've been KLRU for a long time. We started our life, as I mentioned, as KLRN. Then in the 1970s, we became KLRU. So it's been a long time that people have known KLRU. We're now Austin PBS, so we're going through that change specifically because we think the future is all about being local. And how do we work as hard as we can to figure out how to increase our local impact and do it by more partnerships, more innovation, more content, more connection to the community, in ways really we haven't even imagined yet.
Yeah. You know, that's one of the reasons why we got so excited about the partnership with KLRU, which now is Austin PBS.
Right, thank you. We
are so excited because, your core values line up with ACC perfectly. And that's what's important.
No question.
When you look at partnerships.
We've been very lucky to be a partner with and part of the University of Texas at Austin campus for a long time. And we hope that partnership continues. The space requirements and kind of the demands of growth on both of our parts have led us to have to find another option. And we were so thrilled when we had an opportunity to have a conversation with ACC about the possibility of becoming a part of the ACC Highland community. The ACC Highland campus, when you talk about visionary projects, my gosh, what an amazing thing, from not only from an academic and educational standpoint, but from an urban development standpoint, and what this amazing property does for the college and for the community. And so we're now moving toward ACC Highland as our new home, and we'll be there, knock on wood, August 2020, and settling in and fully operating as a studio producer by the end of next year. And that's when the partnership, I think, with ACCTV really becomes cemented.
And for the community, economics makes a difference too. And so one of the things that community members love to see is, are we leveraging resources? And that's one of the beauty points of this collaboration, is that we can leverage the resources from both entities together and be more cost effective long term.
No question. Shared equipment, shared personnel. We're looking forward to doing internships and apprenticeships. We're looking forward to doing joint production. We do a lot of productions out of our studio that we're going to be thrilled to make available to students to come and participate and be a part of the audience. And the thing I think that is really exciting to us, as Carrie went through all the things that make you excited about the sources of content here at ACC, we have that same excitement because the opportunity to coordinate with Radio, TV, Film, to coordinate
Right.
with Center for Digital Media, the Nonprofit Center, to coordinate with, the art and design program, with journalism. I mean, you can really go through a list of programs and colleges here within ACC that is almost endless when you start to think about what the content possibilities are.
It is. You know, you talk about some of the personal people that we have here at ACC, and look at our faculty and staff, and they're amazing, incredible talent that we really haven't been able to showcase appropriately. Now is the perfect opportunity to do that.
I know I'm really excited too with the Highland move. I mean, basically all of the creative disciplines are going to be all under one roof.
Right.
So for us at ACCTV, how wonderful that we can just go across the hall to music and have them write a little jingle for us, or you know, grab a drama student to come and be a host. Like, there's just going to be so many more synergistic things that we can do so organically. You're right. It's not email. It's not phone. It's literally just collaborating and creating, like in the hallway. And we run into the studio. We grab a camera and go outside. There's not a lot of colleges doing that, let alone with a PBS affiliate. Like, that opportunity for students is amazing. Amazing.
The opportunity for students is something I want to take a pause to tone in on, because some of the programming, and Kai, you mentioned the day in the life of, and it is a way of actually getting in to see what students here experience. I want to take a quick break so we can actually listen in on one of those segments.
My name is David Greenfield. I'm with Austin Community College. Today I had my first Japanese menu for my international class. American Regional was my first, and I kind of bombed.
This is our second to last service. They all know the station.
We're getting ready to deep fry some shrimp.
Here we go. That was very hot.
I am worried about a few things, just the ticket consistency coming in.
I'm always a little nervous before it starts.
Nerves are up and down, and 10:59, we have no time.
Like I said, I needed more cups than we're probably eating. I gotta go.
6 minutes, doors open. Gotta love it, gotta love it.
Y'all gotta move.
Welcome back to the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the segment from A Day in the Life, and that it really captures what happens at ACC and the excitement in various disciplines. And so you just got to experience the discipline of culinary arts, and to see how excited our faculty and our staff and our students especially get about their passion for learning. And so joining us is Austin Schenkel. And Austin misspelled her name. It's Austen, but that's okay, Austin. And one of our former students, but who has transitioned and made that transformation into employee. And so we're going to get to hear a little bit about that experience. You know, one of the great things about learning is when you combine the experience that you learn on the job and blend that in with what you learn in the classroom. And so I want you to talk a little bit about that as we get into that.
I graduated high school with my freshman year of college done. So that led me to take a gap year, which was really fun. I did that in Colorado, a program called Trek. And through that program, I realized that videography was like super fun. And I loved being able to capture those memories and moments with my friends I made there. And so when that gap year wrapped up, I ended up going to UTSA for a year. So I was looking into their digital media classes and stuff, and they really only had one. And it was kind of like social media. And then they just talked about, like, this is when a TV was made. And I was like, this isn't what I need to learn. So I started looking around, and ACC seemed to be the best option for me. And I got in touch with Laura DeMeo, who was best professor I've ever had, hands down. She's super hands-on and genuinely cares about all of her students. And so I ended up transferring over to ACC and taking all RTF classes, and through those classes, they really just give it to you straight. And they just prepare you for the real world of what it's going to be like in the film industry. And through those classes, I had an opportunity for this internship with ACCTV from the Skill Up event.
The festival.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Skillet
yeah.
Festival with South by Southwest.
Yeah, which you helped
Yeah.
us shoot, right?
Yeah, and Laura actually set that up for me, which I'm super grateful because I owe all of this to her. And
But let's be clear, her camera work was exceptional. We were like, who is this? Who did this footage? This was good.
Where did that come
So yeah, you also had the talent too.
yeah, well, it just all worked out. It all like lined up perfectly. And so through that event, I met Carrie and Kai, and they ended up reaching back out and offered me an internship. And I was like, okay, sure, this works. And so with that internship, I had learned, it was a small team. It was really just me, Carrie, and Kai going out and doing and producing stuff. And due to that small team, we had to like adapt very quickly. Or I had to learn how to adapt very quickly.
Right.
And just like think on our toes. And yeah, I've learned a lot so far. And all of that has transferred to this job, if not more. So it's been really great.
Awesome. So you know, one of the things you talked about was the great faculty, and bringing that together with the experience that you have working and on the job training, and so what did that mean to you? I mean, you know, that's kind of my background. When I went through college, I had the opportunity to have a paid internship through a cooperative education program. And what I learned on the work site, and was able to bring that into the classroom, really brought relevance to everything that was being taught in that classroom that I don't think I would have had if I hadn't had the experience.
Yeah.
Did you feel the same thing?
Yeah, definitely. At ACC, I feel like in comparison to UT, from what I've heard, because I've had friends that go to UT film and like are in that whole department, and they have classes of like 300 plus, and so it's not very hands-on. And at ACC, it's extremely hands-on. And I know that like whenever students talk about ACC, it's just hands-on, 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 which is super true though. But I definitely feel like I got a one-on-one education, if that makes sense. Because in each of our classes,
Yes,
it was
does.
like 10 to 12 kids or students, and that was it.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very personal, and through that, it helps you get the skills in like a very direct way, and learn those and absorb those. So, yeah, no, I definitely
Good,
felt that.
good. You know, and earlier Bill was talking about the opportunity for KLRU to actually work with students from ACC. Is this the kind of a student you want to work with?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it. I think the point that Austin made, that you made, about having the students who have hands-on opportunities to really learn how to work with tools, how to craft a story, how to approach, an interview, all those are really critical talents that we need every day. It's not theoretical or academic. It's how we have to survive every day to create stuff and deliver it out through our channel. And as a consequence, having a chance to work with students that have had that kind of hands-on experience is critical for us. And so, really happy about that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'll also say, like, when you applied for the job, when we actually posted that assistant videographer job, something that I know we all, on the ACCTV staff are diligent about doing is we want students to have content that they've produced, shot, edited on a reel. When you go up for a job nowadays, the first thing they ask is not what's your resume, where have you worked, I want to see what you've produced,
Right.
what have you done. And Austin, after working with us for 4 to 5 months, I mean, she had a killer reel that was like, super professional. And she could say, I did X, Y, and Z on these. And it just allows you to go into those specific questions in an interview and go, oh yeah, you want me to do that? Oh, I've been doing that for 6 months. Like, just, here you go. And I think that is so key to the future of content creation, and something that we're just making a priority on our end, like to make sure students have as they intern and work in our kind of workforce pipeline, and then hopefully do the same with you too.
Well, I think there's one of the things we're excited about is the possibility of giving a broader audience even to some of that content, and being able to put it up on KLRU, being able to put it up on potentially other stations as well. We do a lot of distribution of content throughout the state and throughout the nation, and if there's a way that we can figure out how to channel some of that student content into a product that can be picked up by other stations, I think that would be
That's
ultimately
awesome.
a great goal.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got back from San Jose and was visiting Apple, and part of a conversation that we had with community college presidents there was talking about the future of work and what are employers looking for in the future, and more and more they are not so interested in the resume and to say, I graduated from X. They want to know what is the skill set that you're bringing to us, and how can you demonstrate that skill set to us before we hire you. And that's exactly what you got here. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Keep up the good work.
Well done.
Thank you.
We actually have a little snippet of some of the pieces that Austin has been a participant of. You got experience behind the cameras, but also in front of the cameras.
Yes, she did.
Let's listen to that real quick.
Put her on camera. She's really good.
Let's go ahead and take a listen to that real quick.
I'm gonna go through and get all of your names, okay?
I'm Austin.
Your name's Austin?
Yeah.
So is mine! So sorry. Well, there you guys have it. An inside look with Rooster Teeth's RTX and John Reisinger. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we'll catch you guys next time on ACC About Town.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that video clip. And no wonder we have hired you. That is amazing.
Not too shabby.
What a great job.
Thank you.
I love the personality that comes out in such a clip, and it really starts to showcase a little bit of the various talents that students can bring to their reel as well. Looking forward, all of this amazing work that's happened is still happening in a pocket, because there are some big, bold plans for the future. Technically, we're in a temporary studio right now for ACCTV because there's a lot unfolding. Dr. Rhodes, what is your vision for the next year and for the continued growth?
I'm excited about the movement of this because, as you said, this is a temporary studio. We've got big plans that are actually being produced right now, under construction, that will have new studio space, new opportunities for students and for our faculty, our staff, to actually demonstrate and show off their skill sets. And that's what we want, and that's how we bring the community into ACC, is to demonstrate that. So what used to be the Women's Dillards will now be the home of the future collaboration with KLRU, with ACCTV. And so tell us, where can we find more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So we're actually going to have 3 studios, which we barely have one now. So there's just going to be so much more that we can do with our facilities, our production value, just all of the amazing equipment. It's just really exciting. But to find us now, we have 5 studio shows currently in production, in addition to 3 field shows happening. So you can find us on austincc.tv, a website we've since created where all of our content can be streamed, as well as our YouTube channel, which is just ACCTV, and then of course our channel, Spectrum Channel 19, which, as I mentioned earlier, goes as far north as Georgetown and south as Kyle. Check us out.
Great. All right.
Check us out too.
Okay.
Yes, for sure.
AustinPBS.org, and we're 18, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on over the air. And those same channels get picked up by most of the major cable providers in the area. Of course, Charter Spectrum, we're on Channel 9 for our primary channel. So there's a lot of content out there to pick up. We have a very similar coverage area where we go up a little bit further to Waco and a little bit further down south to New Braunfels. But there's a lot of people out there that we can reach and tell stories to.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me ask Austin one more question.
Absolutely.
When you participate in the Skill Up Festival, what was your absolute favorite part of that?
Oh, it's got to be the RB step.
That was really great.
So good, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Too. That was actually a piece produced by another ACC student too.
That's right.
It's part of the mascot team. It's amazing to see the transformation, Dr. Rhodes, that you've envisioned start to come to life, and especially with the important partnerships that help bring it all together. And all of it, as you've always said, to really help serve our communities in the new ways that we want to serve our community.
Yeah, collaboration is important.
Amen.
It's a critical part, but so is innovation. And when you put those two together, it leads to transformation. And that's what's happening
Here at Austin Community College. This has been the Presence Podcast at Austin Community College. We thank you for joining us, taking a listen, watching us on ACCTV, and listening to us on our podcast channel, and we hope to see you next time.